So that was already an expectation. You knew that if you move from MNC to an SME, you would take a pay cut.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I knew and I negotiated such that I need to make sure I can get by. Yeah, so then I made the jump. When I came out, it was like, wow, a lot of cleaning up.
You must understand that when the Tauke bring you in, they are taking a big bet on you. So actually, they trust you a lot. Word of caution for, professionals entering the SME market, right, is that you must learn to manage upwards in a very direct way. When you're the SME, you must sometimes remind the boss, hey, why did you bring me in the first place? Is to do this.
If you are showing that you can do more and really help the business grow, I think that's when then you can have these stakes on the table to hey, I can do this. Yeah, and what are you looking for yourself? Do you really want to just stay in that box? Because there is an opportunity for you to be involved in everything.
Hey Coconuts, I'm sure you're familiar with our friends World First. World First is an all-in-one business account that fuels your business growth worldwide. And yes, they have been fueling TFC. I've used it myself. So World First have allowed me to open up a multi-currency account at zero cost and no fees and no minimum balance needed. So they have a new product which I'll share with you more later in the podcast. Meanwhile, if you want to check them out, link is in the description below. And yeah, welcome back to the show. Let's roll.
Welcome back to another episode of Wise and Shine. I'm Dawn, budget babe and new author. So please go and get my book. But anyway, joining me on this set is Alex.
Hi, this is Alex. If you remember, I'm Alex Loh, your growth mindset coach.
Of course you remember.
Okay,
no need to ask.
Because I wasn't around for a couple of sessions,
last few
so I
episodes.
scared they forget.
But you guys remember him, right? Okay, but anyway, today we're going to talk about a topic that is going to be quite meaningful for some of you because we're noticing this trend. In the past, a lot of people were going towards MNCs, right? But now with all of the layoff seasons happening and there's a shift in career meaning as well, we're seeing an interest as well as government push towards more SME hires and recruitment. So people are actually considering moving, but is that the right move to make? What are some of the considerations? To help us answer this question and to share their personal stories, we've invited Doreen, who moved from an MNC to SME, to share her take and get real on this episode titled The Pain and Pleasure of MNC to SME. On top of that, our original guest, unfortunately, has just come down with COVID.
Yes,
so I'm the
unfortunately.
extra. Hi.
Yeah, so we invited our SME Tauke.
Yes, I got a lot of things to say about people that were ex-MNC trying to join an SME. I think it goes both ways,
Personal
right?
experience.
Yeah, personal experience.
Ah,
That's why
okay,
I try
so
higher. I
we're
think at
gonna
least
dig
two.
out that dirt. But before we start, can we get our guests to introduce ourselves?
Hi. I'm Doreen. I'm from Toh Thye San Farm and I joined from the MNC to SME since 2018. So that's counting to...
So many years already.
Yes, 7 years. And I was telling you guys 5 years, right? Yeah. So very quickly, yes.
Can you share a bit more about Toh Thye San Farm?
Toh Thye San Farm, we are actually a fresh poultry in the fresh poultry industry, and we import frozen meat as well. And I think we've grown recently to start importing like premium wagyu and seafood, sashimi, all this as well.
Oh, wow.
You were at the
sashimis.
Food Hotel Asia, which is the premium food kind of conference, right, in Singapore. And it's huge. The booth is very big. I saw Toh Thye San Farm. Then I texted them. Family friend. Yes.
But that's the very SME, but yet growth.
Yeah,
So that's actually a very interesting story.
Yes. So we grew from SM to now we are going to the M mode, right? So that's why we are facing a lot of transition change as well.
And they grow because of you, lah.
I mean, not because of me, but then I need to also help smoothen out and make sure the infrastructure is there to support this growth. I think that was where I saw how I can contribute my value in when I decided to join. I joined this company also by an opportunity. Yeah, my cousin kind of like reached out and was like, he saw me looking for new jobs already because I wanted to jump. Yeah, the old company that I was
So you
in
left
was
your MNC job without a plan at that time?
No, I was still in a job. But I was looking out for different opportunities because there was too much restructuring. But of course, my CFO and whatnot, they are also looking to give me other opportunities as well.
I thought you were about to say, my CFO also looking for other opportunities.
No.
So we all looking.
She was.
And she's now my colleague at Toh Thye San.
She was looking into retirement.
Okay.
So she was
different.
looking, maybe I can take over.
Take over.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, next generation.
Yeah, succession planning. Yes. So that was a time when I was like, hey, there's all these opportunities available for me, but you know what, I want to go. So before I even joined SME, I actually had a talk with everyone. Like, because I need to talk to my husband, and you know, even including my in-laws, we all stay together. I need to get their green light that, you know, I'm going out and, you know, I'm going to get pay card and everything. You know, my whole life may change altogether.
So that was already an expectation. You knew that if you move from MNC to an SME, you would take a pay cut.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I knew, and so then I negotiated such that I need to make sure I can get by. Yeah, so then I made the jump to come out into SME, and yeah, when I came out, it was like, wow, a lot of cleaning up.
So it's been 8 years clean up already?
Yes. It's still clean, in
Still
progress.
in the
Different kind of thing, right? So back then they were still
It's got some level of clean up. She will not say. A lot of clean up.
Yeah, because they were newly incorporated as a private limited back then. Yeah, so they moved from partnership to private limited. So it's a different structure as well. So they were not well versed in the different requirements as well. So I think I kind of like joined at a good time then, clean up. And yeah, back then I wouldn't say, you know, it was for an easier life because it was overwhelming.
SME
like,
not
wow.
easier life.
Yeah, SME doesn't equal easier life. But then I have to admit that it does happier because my colleagues are generally friendly, and you know, we don't have that much hierarchy. And across departments, we work more closely. Yeah, and for me, it's a plus is that it's family. Right. So I was thinking, like, you know, if I am working so much hours out there, why don't I put the hours with my family? And then since I can contribute.
You mentioned what is the team size? Because you say no hierarchy and family. So it's a family of 100, a family of 50?
Okay, back then it was about 130.
Wow, so
but
big.
then in the office, it's only about 20 packs. You know everyone's name, everyone's birthday. You know, every day we will celebrate everyone's birthday. We have lunch together every day. We have it inside, since in-house they cook.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
okay.
it was
Cook your own
healthier
groceries.
meal.
Their own
Yes.
produce, right? Yeah.
Healthier meals, yeah. So I think that was also a cost saving and a bit something more healthier.
Yeah, every day can eat Wagyu beef, eh? Not
No
bad.
lah. Back then there wasn't any
Oh,
Wagyu
back
beef
then no
yet.
Wagyu
Yeah.
beef.
Poultry,
Now,
yes.
Can you
Sign
invite
up
us
here.
to go and
Careers at Toh Thye San Farm.
Yeah. So I mean, food. It was a plus for me lah. I mean, I'm happy because my aunt is a very, very good cook. So yeah, every day I have something to look forward to. Yeah, and then plus seeing the family members. Yeah, but I have to also acknowledge that, you know, at the same time, I do feel lonely when I'm doing my job. Because while I'm doing all this cleanup, a lot of things that I am aware, perhaps none of them are. Yes.
Right.
It is different from when I'm in MNC. I have a lot of peers, like people of the same rank. You know, when you share with them, hey, I got this problem, wow, then you can complain, and then, you know, you get that kind of comrade in arms kind of feeling, you know, everyone is going through it together. But then when I'm in the SME side of it, will be like, hey, there's this need to do, like, okay, then you do. You see what is the best. I'm like, okay, can. You know, so for resources wise, I think that's where SME is lacking. But you just need to try, and it's there lah. Just find. Sometimes, you know, even Singapore regulatory bodies, they are also quite helpful in providing advice and whatnot to steer you. So it's really to grind through it.
So if you feel lonely or you feel alone, who do you then go to for your source of comfort?
Okay, my family at work, I do have a few of them. I will also share with them. They may not be able to help me in that in the work itself, but they understand where I'm coming from, and they will also put in their part. Yeah, that's one. And of course, the other side, I do still share with my MNC people. Like, sometimes I miss the time we just take care of everything. Can just enjoy lunch and do all these kind of things without thinking about the future of the company per se. Yeah, whereas when I joined SME, I'm constantly thinking, okay, if I don't do this, cannot. It needs to be, this needs to be done for the company to grow to another extent. Yeah, back then for me was to change the ERP. Right, so that was like one big thing for me, and it could be that the whole company, most of them don't think there's this need to, and I would have to say that this whole ERP, when I was doing it, like back in MNC, you will have different departments. You just appoint them. You test yourself. But when I was in SME, it's like everything I test myself, and then I teach myself.
I want to defend the SME people.
SME
No, it's true, to be fair. Whatever Doreen say is true. So you order tauke, right? I know that's what you're thinking, right? But I think the converse side of the story also needs to be told, right? Which is that I think for a lot of SME bosses, they need the talent to grow, right? And the fact of the matter is you will never be able to compete for grade A talent in their prime. Like when they first come out, get their scholarship, all that, impossible, right? It must be that they go through life at some point and then they kind of rethink like, wow, do I really want to do this all the time, right? Then you go in and try to scoop them. Right. But
actually, it's true.
Very true.
If I came out straight from the university and joined SME, I don't think I will be able to contribute as much.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
It's when I have gone through what I have gone through in an MNC to grow and expose myself, then I am able to direct myself to know what I need to do for this company to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. And from the tauke point of view, right, it's like, hey, I finally found somebody that knows their stuff. You know what I mean? Like when you first start, okay, not my team is quite good lah. So okay, but it's like we all patch mail, right? We know a little bit here and there. We learn along the way, and then you finally like manage to convince someone that is like from an established firm. They know all the processes, best in class ideas. You get them in, right? And I think this part you must also give the tauke a bit of slack, right? Because there must be some vision around what they want to do for them to even actively canvas for good MNC talent, right? So this is the first part. And given whatever limited resources that most taukes have, right, you must have already gotten a big chunk, because it's limited, right? So to get the talent is like everything is on the table already. You're pretty much betting that this person is going to come in and make big changes and make big impact, right? So I think that's the part where I think for a lot of professionals, you must understand the psyche of the tauke, right? When we bring you in at this rate, it will never compete with MNC for sure. Your remuneration, your package, or your, what package, right? Right? So it will never compete. But that is the best that the organization can give you. And, if you come in and you make that impact, I think you get very direct, experience on the kind of growth, and not just like growth for growth's sake, right? But it's also the kind of remuneration readjustment. I'm not sure about
yes,
Doreen.
Yes, definitely. You get recognition.
Yeah,
You can get the remuneration because the company, the bosses, they are then very assured that, hey, this person can work, can do. Yeah. Because, for them, they are wary also because a lot of people from MNC, they are also very used to silo, or rather departmental work. I only know how to do this part of work. And when I go into SME, they'll be like, oh, this part is not enough. I need to do everything all around it, right? So then they get a frustration as well because then it's not a good fit. So for them, it's like, hey, why do I want to pay so much and then risk having this person there? Then I'm not in the culture of firing people, but I have this person here, so high pay, and I don't know how to fire, then they're stuck there. So sometimes I think for them, they may also be hesitant to do that move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like from when you hire the MNC people. So I've tried 2 hires, okay, from big media houses. They join the team, and a lot of pointing lor. You know, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this. I know, right? So, can you get your hands dirty now, right?
Because that's the culture in MNCs.
Yes. And to be fair, they do have a certain understanding that the team doesn't carry. Right, great. And that's the whole reason why they're here. Right. And that's the whole reason why outsized budgets are allocated to these people. If you look across the pay scale, right, they are, like as close as my pay type thing, like they're paid very well to come in to create their impact. And often I get this type of like point. I mean, I only try 2 lah, right? Okay, there's one that's amazing, but yeah, so that kind of defeats the point of why they are here. Right, I think as much as I appreciate the insight, but I also need somebody to execute and get going. So then, echoing what Doreen said, right? If let's say today you can create the impact in the organization, right? You know what I'm thinking every day for these type of people? I'm thinking, how can I pay you more? How can I, give you better rewards so that you will stay? Right, because I know that it's a hard catch. I finally found somebody. So you are in my frame of mind every day.
So maybe that fear that they might leave.
Exactly. Right, so this is a dynamics that I think most bosses not willing to talk about it openly, but that is the truth of the matter. If you finally you take the big budget, you put it on this person, and this person is creating miracles in the organization. Whether is it change management, whether is it increasing sales number, whether it's optimization, whatever big word that corporate will use lah. SME just know the numbers very good lah, right? So that's the kind of growth. So when you see that type of growth, right, actually you are always thinking of how to keep these people. Right, and I think that it's in some ways for a lot of professionals tuning in, right, that is a privileged position to be in. I think for you to think a little bit about, right. So now you got negotiating power. Last time you're in a big call, whose table you bang? Right. Is that a fair statement? Not that you bang table lah.
I wouldn't bang table lah, but I would have to say when I was in MNC, I'm also performing quite well.
Of course. Yeah. But
but it's a whole different kind of impact that you can make. Yes, definitely.
So if we put this in dollars and cents, right? 8 years on, would you have your current remuneration is matching from when you left the MNC, or
it's already above.
has surpassed?
It has
oh
surpassed.
my god,
it has surpassed.
amazing! You see, Tauke will appreciate good people.
Yeah, there's hope.
Yes,
Because I think a lot of
there's
people are under
definitely
the
hope.
impression that when they leave an MNC to an SME, of course there'll be the immediate pay cut, and you experience the same, right? Immediate pay cut. But what they're not so sure of is then later on will it go back up to even, like you said, exceed.
Yeah, I think that's where you have to really show your value. Because like what Reggie say, you cannot just give them the theoretical stuff. They know theoretical. The problem is always on the executor. They don't have enough people to execute, right? Because a lot of SME, if anything, they come from more traditional. I'm not talking about the entrepreneurs kind, but they come from traditional businesses. They have traditional hires. They have people who are generally more of the doer. They do and do and do. They don't really strategically plan things out. So you have to be that person. And at the same time, you kind of like have to show them, hey, why this change is actually good for you. Because as you know, a lot of people are resistant to change. Yeah, and sometimes it's really grinding out together with them. Let me show you, let's do it together. And then, when things actually change, they see the value. Then, oh, yeah, actually, why you never tell me earlier? Right.
The story is actually I already tell you, it's just you couldn't hear it.
Yes, correct. So I think the fulfilling part of it was that, the process was really painful. Even if I think back now, back then I was even thinking like, never mind lah, let me just change back everything. And then, you guys continue what you're doing. I go and find my
So at some point you really wanted to throw in the towel?
I wanted to, because the challenge I faced was not really just from the grounds. Sometimes even the management stuff as well, then they'll be like, why am I trying to fight?
And when you talk about this challenge, is it more of a reluctance to embrace that change?
Kind of, yes.
Right.
Yes, because what I was doing was ERP change, right? So then they had the system, the old system, and then I'm like, hey, this new system is not working. It's not working better than the old system. Then why do I want to change? So there was a lot of noise, and we had a lot of things going wrong. Yeah, but I think that was when they kind of like make noise daily, and I had to like really grind it out with them.
So what changed? What made you overcome that instead of throwing in the towel?
That is the answer.
That is the answer that everyone is looking for also, right?
Correct,
Because
but that's the thing about it, right? So sometimes when you feel that you are in a very hopeless situation, when you as you grind it out and people start to see the value and see how it does make things easier for them, you get, hey, actually, yeah, this is easier. Hey, this one better, leh. Then like, why didn't I know this earlier? All these kind of things that helps make you feel better. And of course, when I was saying that, the painful part was maybe like certain group, I don't have the entire group, like, having that kind of resistance. They were very on to take on all this, learn all these new things. And I think this is also the heartening part. I have this group of people. I don't even need to look at them. They will just go and learn and do themselves, and quietly support me and ask me, hey, what else you need me to help you cover?
Hey Coconuts, I'm very excited to introduce you to the latest offerings from World First. World First is an all-in-one business account that fuels your business worldwide. Their latest product, the World Card, is a multi-currency business card that allows you to get unlimited 1.2% cashback on all your business spend. If you use it on Meta Ads, Google Ads, ChatGPT, Salesforce, and more, you get additional benefits. Of course, subjected to change, terms and conditions apply. But more importantly, if today you are looking to start your business, whether it's in retail, e-commerce, or B2C, World First is your partner. Check them out, link in the description below, and back to the show.
so Thye, on the culture part, any comments?
Ayo. Anyway, this is not my personal stance only, okay? So I've been connecting with friends at ASME, Association
Fellow
of Small and
Thye's.
Middle Enterprises. Yeah. So I've talked to some of them, so I kind of have a sense of like how this works. So back to the point where you must understand that when the Tauke bring you in, they are taking a big bet on you. So actually, they trust you a lot. Right, because they don't have many bets. They are not like HR, in a big MNC, like cannot out, or like some program cannot turn around, never mind, go, we move, right? They cannot. So every, talent hire, let's just collectively call talent hire, which I think that is the main storyline where good MNC talent explore an SME opportunity, right? So when the Tauke bring you in, actually they are betting on you. But as they bet on you, right, it also means that there's outsized risk on them. So, of course, it's a very scary process. So, when you're making the change, all that, right, confirm they will question you, right? Because to them, you may be able to find, no, not you may be, you very likely will be able to find another good job. Just putting out your resume out there. To them, if this business collapses, right, it's a big thing. It's their business, right? And some SME Tauke, this may be their only business after many, many years, right? So they are afraid. So I think a word of caution for professionals entering the SME market, right, is that you must learn to manage upwards in a very direct way.
Yes.
Right, you must play a bit of the gamqing style, lah. Right, like the whole let us not forget why we come here in the first place. Those are things you don't really say in MNC as much, right? There's an organizational chart. Everybody hit the KPI. Okay, great, bonus. But when you're in the SME, you must sometimes remind the boss, hey, why did you bring me in the first place? Is to do this. And in the process of doing this is the pain, right? So we are in this together. This is important, right? And I think for a lot of working professionals, they don't see this part. So when they go in, they're like, why people don't understand? Of course they don't understand. That's why you're here, right?
Correct.
Does it make sense?
It
Yes.
does.
Yeah.
So
It does,
what you're
yes.
saying is, aside from managing up, it's also about being clearer in that communication, because in the MNC, you have a lot of things to fall back on. Yeah, but in the SME, that's not the
Must have a
case.
bit more love in the SME. That's how I feel, right? Is that a fair word?
It's fair. It's fair, and the love doesn't mean tender loving. Sometimes it means like need to be the harsher. Hey, why?
Yeah.
I have to do this, and I'm doing this not because of myself. It's for you, and you need to think long term. All those kind of things. Sometimes it's always reminding each other. I think so. I think this kind of discussion is actually very good when we challenge each other. Doesn't matter whether he's boss or not. I think my boss, they enjoy this kind of exchange as well.
And I think that, for lack of a better word, it's less transactional, right?
Less transactional.
less
yes.
transactional
Yes.
when
yes.
you work in an SME.
Yes.
There was a period of time that I kind of judged the SME for like too much like family energy. Some the very kamsing, right? We're in this together, why you're not professional? That's kind of my thought. Why you're not professional? Why you're not organized, no structure. And no insult to you, huh? But over time, I've come to realize that in some sense, that is the plus point of the family business. They really treat you like a family. That it's not the first thing they think of to let you go when business is not good. Right? It's unlike in a big MNC where management is remunerated based on certain KPIs, right? So if business is not good, fire. Then we can keep the KPIs, right? I think in an SME there is that energy lah. Then maybe in times like this where we are transitioning, throughout the global order, and this is not I say one, a lot of ministers already say, I think this could be a harbor to hold more talented people, in the smaller enterprise, and then grow along, and then eventually your pay will outstrip your original pay, right? But of course, probably not organically lah. Have to chop a bit.
Right.
Yeah, you need to build it up.
So on that point of remuneration, Doreen wanted to ask you, for people who or any talents who are moving from MNCs to SME, okay, first is be prepared potentially for a pay cut. Don't expect to be paid what you were before. But how do you even go into that negotiation? And because if you can't get paid, you want to argue for other things, right? So could you share your story and then maybe some tips or anything you felt you would have done differently on hindsight to negotiate that remuneration package?
Okay, for me, I was pretty straightforward lah. Like sometimes I would just say, it's a bit not enough already. Yeah, because I mean for us it's really more casual. Right, since we in our SME we don't have a very very formal appraiser and benchmarking kind of thing. We do have benchmark, sorry, but they don't
You
actively.
implement one, is it?
We push to implement lah. It's informal because I mean they have the structure for maybe the more processing part of the workers, but the thing is the back office. It's kind of like very new for them because back then back office maybe it's just like the bosses themselves, right? So so it's to negotiate and then for them to really like they kind of like saw the value that I brought on the table, and it's all the big changes that I made, right? So I think that's where it gained me a lot of negotiation room.
That's after you join. Yeah, but prior to joining, how do you negotiate the first package?
Prior to that, I really just took whatever I could to survive only.
So you didn't negotiate in the beginning?
Yes. I cut and I just
Got
like,
50% cut.
have.
Wow, 50%.
Wow. And you didn't ask for anything else in return? Like work from home 3 days or like give me more leave?
Not really. Actually, there's less leave. I kind of like asked for more leave. I told them this kind of leave I cannot survive. Can we just bring up everyone's leave?
So right. So you negotiated as everyone, not just like
back office processing is a bit whole different
so that's one
category.
Boss, I think you're not giving yourself enough rest time. Government say must work-life balance. So for the good of your health and everyone in the team, we should all get an extra 5 days. That's the team, is it?
The thing is because sometimes for them is they are not aware of what is the norm and market. Right? It wasn't that they didn't want to, but the thing is they have always been going with that mode and no one is there to tell them that, actually now, market is like standard at least 14 days kind of thing. You are starting from 7 and you're telling me like, 10 years of experience I come in, I still start from 7. Kind of like, it doesn't gel.
And the Tauke's or the business owners are in their 50s, 60s?
50s, 60s, yes, correct.
Okay, so they're of that generation.
Yes, they're of that generation. So the thing is, what's good is that they are also very open-minded to listen to all these opinion, and these are, as long as it's reasonable, they kind of like, okay, what you say is true, and that's in the norm. They kind of like verify. Then let's just push through, right? So I think that's why for me it made it, everything is more meaningful is because I feel and I know and I do see the changes that I make.
Okay, SME Tauke, so I'm going to ask you. You also can't afford to pay at MNC level,
of course,
right?
Of course.
So what would you advise your future hires to ask you instead that you can potentially give or your fellow SME bosses can give when it's not money?
Okay, so So back to the story of why SME Tauke will try very hard to get talent, right? Is to create change, right? Is to grow. It's not for you to come into senang, right? Or like relax. So this is an experience for everybody, right? So when I tried to recruit, other than some of the people that I tried to recruit full-time, I also recruited some part-timers because my budgets are limited, right? And they are the worst recruit. Oh, yeah, my part-timers. For MNC part-timers are the worst recruit because they are really trying to count based on the hours that they were putting in at the MNC, you know. So I was drawing 10,000 a month at the MNC. Now you can only pay me like, you know, 2,500. You work part-time, right? So and then in that 1-2 days, they really just work 1-2 days. Very calculative, right? And very quickly you have to let them go because back on that story, what we want to do is to rope in the people so that we will all rise together in a shorter period of time. And very quickly you can renegotiate with me. I've done salary adjustments twice in a year, right? Which MNC does that? Unless you got a counter offer, right? But like I said, the psyche of the SME Tauke is we want to bring you in to grow. So as long as we can all grow together, you can renegotiate very quickly, right? So is that a fair statement?
Fair statement.
Yeah. So as long as we can grow together, because that is the whole reason why I go about hunting you down, you know. Very difficult one. So, right, must convince the people, you know, that they must be good in the first place to even consider coming in, right? So from that thought process, I think for a lot of MNC professionals, right, you must come in with the idea that I'm here to rise together, right? I'm here to create that big break for myself, right? So with that mindset, it'll be much easier. And then when you get the pay, I think, you know, it is what it is. This is as much as we can go. We can timeline it. We can say, okay, this will be a 6 month, this will be a 1 year, you know, then we kind of go from there. I think that's the way forward. So you get to adjust your risk palette. And then also from a company standpoint, I get to know that, okay, in 6 months time, if I don't see anything, right, then also never mind. Right? You know, something along those. So you get to adjust, I get to adjust. Everybody is in for it. Yeah. Does it make sense?
It makes sense. And I have a question for Tauke also, right? SME Tauke.
Suddenly become my episode.
How do you ascertain whether the MNC, ex-MNC hire is just in it for the interim, right? Because I might I do this 3-4 months, then I will find my next MNC gig, right? And then bye-bye, thanks.
Okay, so this is a dance, right? Truth of the matter is, I'm sure a few months in, she also thinking of like, hey, let me just get another job. You know, it's like so much easier, right? Because when you are still on the outside, you will think like, okay, maybe can. But once you go in, you know how messy this house is, right? And that's the reason for your existence here. Right, so it's going to be messy. So there's a very good chance that there's a drop-off rate that everybody logically needs to recognize and accept. So this is a dance, right, between the professional and the Tauke to know that, hey, there's a chance that this person will go. So you just got to keep betting and risk manage this process. You know what I mean? So as much as I am hoping that this person comes in and can create a change, I also need to cognitively recognize that there's a very good chance that it's not a good fit. And that's also part of the reason why I want to do this episode, because I'm not the only one that experienced this. I've talked to many of the Taukes, and I think this is their point of view. And I want to air that point of view to realize that there is that room to negotiate, but, you know, this is the reality. So as much as you are questioning them, they also question you.
Yeah, I think it's good to think of it both ways, right? And maybe Doreen, you can share your experience as well, specific to this question.
Okay, specific to this question, I mean, to a certain extent, I do have a more traditional mindset whereby, you know, sometimes I like to have this sense of belonging. You know, so when I am in any of my jobs, for me, the most important thing was, do I have a sense of belonging with the company, and do I see any purpose in the job?
So did you feel that in MNC?
MNC, I had. Yeah, then the reason then when I wanted to move on was because they were going through a lot of changes, you know, even the higher senior management change, and I don't really appreciate their directions, or to a certain extent, if there's any but yeah.
Okay.
CFO to retire right? What kind of direction?
Which is a good point also because it brings out that you can still feel that sense of belonging and connection, whether it's MNC or SME, because it's about the team.
It is about the team. Yeah. So for me, it's really the purpose. So when I joined this SME, it's really like, family. That's one. Second is I can see what I can bring to the table. Third is also because nearer to home. Much, much, much nearer. I don't need to go to town. In fact, I only go to town on weekends now.
And
So the
for
traveling
this.
time was cut short by
a lot more. So you kind of like gain 1 to 2 hours of your life back. When I'm starting to work nearer to my house. Yeah, and then I even have more time connecting with family then. That is also another plus point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to add a different point to this, right? Because I think for a lot of SME taukees, what they will do is they will play the family card. Like the whole we have to in this together. They're very good at that because that's all they have. So,
Not very true, but
it's a- you know what I mean,
It
right?
is the essence of it actually.
there is an essence here, right? They are very
Yes.
good with this, we are in this together, the camaraderie, the bro, the kind of family energy, right? A lot of the taukees have it. Don't be dissuaded by this. Okay, this is my point of view. I think for the working professionals, you gotta guard against this. Okay, for me, why I say you gotta guard against this, because if you don't, and there's a very good chance you get convoluted into that game, and then you lose yourself in that process. Especially for a lot of people that are very regular in an MNC for like 10, 20 years, right? Then you join SME circuit, suddenly you feel like a new high, Hey, wow, things can be done this way. But at the end of the day, I think for our audience, the kind of progress to life, the kind of financial attainment is still very important. So we can take a short dip, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, but it must come back, it must come back. So you don't want to end up, because SME a lot of love, then you just get stuck in that energy, right? And so this is a warning to working professionals. You must be clear why you're there. Be critical about that process, but understand the limitations, right? And how these things works. Ultimately, you do well, everybody do well, then, there's a long term, to discuss. If not, it's just our family. You know what I mean, right? Yeah.
I do get what you're saying, but the thing is, if you achieve progress together, I think the thing about SME is that progression is actually fast. Right, if the whole team actually sticks close together, the progression is always there. Yeah, and like the family part of it, I think is still very real. Especially, I'm not too sure about guys lah, but for girls especially, sometimes we have families to balance as well. So we do also offer like more flexibility. Today they need to go off early to bring their child, or their child is sick, etc. They need to work from home. I think all these things, SME wise, we also still do offer combat. I mean, this is I think opposing to what other people used to think, like only MNC they have people to back up so they can go, but SME you have to die do it, right? But we have the thing is, I think the very 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 good thing about what came out from COVID was they made work more mobile.
Yeah.
And I think it benefits everyone, including SME and everyone working. Yeah. So this has also enabled SME to actually offer even more flexibility in how we work.
Were there any other MNC hires to the farm since you joined?
We do have, but sometimes there is this cultural change that it's hard for us to, like, how should I say?
Basically, they don't adapt lah.
The mentality that SME is a bit more laid back, relaxed.
Right.
But it is untrue, right?
Yes, it's
Mm.
untrue.
So they don't
it
roll up their
creates a
sleeves.
lot of frustration. Yeah. So I think when they feel that when you're in SME, then you can do everything slowly, take a step back. I think then it creates a lot of pain for everyone else.
So we have seen then people who have made that move from MNC to SME, and you're one example of a successful one because you chose to stay on. Your pay actually caught up and increased, and you're still very happy working in that space. But on the other side, we also have, like you said, some people don't really fit in, cannot adapt. What do you think are the defining characteristics that set aside these two groups so that people can know, right, before they even make the decision? And it helps everyone, right? The SME boss also don't want a person who won't stay. I want someone with a higher chance.
Correct. But it's like what the Tauke says, right? The purpose that you are coming into this job for, and if you're, of course, and also I think it's the role which you're coming in, right? If you're talking about manageable role, it's definitely not going to be easy. Right, there's a lot of strategic things, planning and implementing that we are talking about. Of course, if you're just talking about admin role, then I guess
Then
it's
you're
a
not
whole different
talent,
thing.
eh, sorry.
We're not talking about.
Okay, it's right because that's not what you're recruited for. You know what I mean? Okay, relax. Don't cancel me. Don't cancel me.
Eyes of blood.
You're not the talent the boss wants.
Yeah, don't cancel me. Okay, but this is the arc of the story, right? Which is a MNC professional, high functioning, joining an SME, right? And that is the most of the tussle lah. If for like a better way to put it, for a lot of people that are struggling in an MNC, right, they are very happy to be in an SME because the league game is very different. You know, as much as there's a lot of things to do, but I genuinely think that things are not as intense, right? So there's a but I will allow Doreen.
It's not as intense. It's just that everything does happen more slowly because you have to push harder to make things happen, right? But the impact and the purpose, I think that is what drives.
Would you think then that having a discussion about that expectations of workload during the pre-hire phase would help both the candidate and the Tauke to better differentiate these two people?
I think that will be kind of like deal breaker, right? I think factually speaking, because the Taukes don't have an idea that the scope is very grey. It's always dotted line. I wouldn't say, you are hired for this role, yes, but do you really only can do this? If you are only restricting yourself to that, then I don't think you have much to negotiate lah. Yeah. Right? If you are showing that you can do more and really help the business grow, I think that's when then you can have these stakes on the table to hey, I can do this. Yeah. And what are you looking for yourself? Do you really want to just stay in that box? Because there is an opportunity for you to be involved in everything. Yeah, sometimes it scares me lah. You can be in operation, you can do anything you want.
So from a personal growth perspective, how do you see yourself now compared to 8 years ago?
I think a lot of my growth now is really on the soft skill. I think I gain a lot of the how to manage this culture change and to push things, and how people actually change along with the time. But of course, I also have to at the same time keep myself updated with the whole landscape of industry. Now it's industry 4.0. Last year, now it's industry 5.0 and all this kind of things.
Wait, there's 5.0 already?
It's 5.0 already this year.
Okay. SME Tauke, you behind time already.
Yeah, very Tauke. That's why higher talent. You see the dynamics, right? Yes.
So I have to keep myself updated then to then bring it back to the company. What is applicable for us? What is not applicable for us? What are the opportunities available? Yeah. So I think it gives me. I mean now become a bit more Tauke mindset, right? Compared to back then, you really only need to care for that piece of grass in front of you.
Yeah, what I'm hearing from both of you actually is that in an MNC, your KPI technically gets set for you. You could push for it, but pretty much it's still top down. But in an MNC, you are actually defining and changing some of these KPIs yourself. You might be hired in for a HR role. But what does a HR role even look like? Maybe last time it's only 4 parts, but you think that you should add the 5th because it's industry 5.0. You should now add in a AI mental well-being thing for your employees, which did not exist 5 years ago, and you drive that change, you increase your job scope. So that's how one fundamental change would be.
Very, 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 very apt kind of example. Yeah.
But I would even say the way you explain, right, it's very MNC. It's like you got these 4 things, then you add this one thing,
but actually, that's why for corporate support-wise, it is pretty much like that. How you grow your SME structure to the MNC kind of structure. I think that's for the back office or part of it.
Okay, thank you for sharing. So I think
Thank
this
you,
has been a
Doreen.
very insightful episode, and we hope that you guys have enjoyed it as we bring you through the pains and pleasure. And in fact, what I heard also was the reward. Yeah, that is very meaningful, and I hope that this has given you a perspective into both the boss point of view as well as the talent point of view to help you shape and decide your own career pathway. If you have any other comments about SME transitions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. And who knows, it might be another episode, or we might address them, or even send them to Doreen and come back with answers for you guys if you have something very pertinent to ask us. And
If you are not already following us on email, please go to www.thefinancialcoconut.com, put in your email address there, and be updated every time we launch a new episode.
love this episode, let us know in the comments below. And if not, we'll see you back here on the next episode of Wise and Shine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.